In a recent video, you were talking about the Sabbateans. So if you could, for the viewers that don't read English and can't access your books about it, can you please give us the cliff notes of who they are and what is the relationship between them and the Jewish people?
Well, I came across a book a long time ago now, which was eventually followed up by another one. I found another one by the same author, and it was by a Jewish rabbi called Marvin S. Antelman. And it was about the Sabbatean cult and how it had infiltrated Jewish society, proclaiming itself and presenting itself as Jewish and supporting the Jewish ideals, when actually it was not only not doing that, it was an inversion of Judaism in so many ways. And this cult hates Jews. Now, this is extremely important because you go back to the 1600s and a man called Sabbatai Zevi, who claimed to be the Jewish Messiah. And he gathered, for the time, a phenomenal following. And then the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, where he was operating, basically said to him, you know, prove you're the Jewish Messiah or convert to Islam, or there's going to be serious consequences. So what he did was converted to Islam, but only on the surface. And what this Sabbatean cult became very skillful at was posing as something they were not, so they could infiltrate a society, a religion, whatever, a culture. And they became known, the followers of Sabbatai Zevi, as the Donma or Donme, which means to turn. They were the people who turned, but they only turned on the surface, not behind the scenes. And they started serving a very different God, shall we say. And they, in effect, inverted Judaism in their own Sabbatean, actually satanic cult. If there was a fasting day in Judaism, in Sabbateanism, they would have a feast day. They'd absolutely turned it on its head. And they were a satanic cult. And then Zevi died, and in the next century, along came Jacob Frank, who has been described by at least one Jewish historian that I read as one of the most evil people in Jewish history. And Jacob Frank was very close to the Rothschilds. He was involved with the Rothschilds and those that created the Bavarian Illuminati in 1776. And he took Sabbateanism, which was also known as Sabbatean Frankism for that reason, onto whole new levels. He started to infiltrate the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican. He started infiltrating everywhere. And they had this technique, like I say, of appearing to be supporters of and expressions of a religion or a culture or whatever, when actually their agenda was very, very different. It was to take over those cultures. And from what I've researched over the years, and most of it has come from Jewish sources, they have pretty much controlled Israel since it was created. And therefore, it's not too much of a stretch to say the least that Sabbateans, not straight rank and file Jewish people, but Sabbateans, the infiltrators of Jewish society, were behind what's happened here. Because what we're seeing is classic Sabbatean techniques. You control one side and they allow the attack to happen, and you control the other side, which orchestrates the attack to happen. And then you create the upheaval, which leads to your problem, reaction, solutions, which are advancing your agenda further and further towards global control. And one of the things that I write about at length is how, after the creation of Israel in 1948, a lot of Sabbatean families moved to America so that their children would be born in America. And you have then seen the Sabbatean input and influence in the United States government as well. And what it's been portrayed as is the ratio of Jewish people in positions of power in America is phenomenally greater than the Jewish population ratio of about 2%. What's missed is they are overwhelmingly Sabbateans working for this global cult. And the Sabbateans are part of this global cult, but a very, very important part these days. And they are pulling the strings in the United States. So in so many ways, I mean, if you look at how many Jewish people were in positions of influence in the administrations of Barack Obama, the administrations of Boy George Bush, the administrations of Trump, and the administrations of Biden now, it's phenomenal. And what happens is that's for those that are paying attention and see that, the response is the Jews are controlling the American government. But it's the Sabbateans who hate Jews